So we are finally getting to a room tour. This is June 10th, 2025. So I'm just go ahead and start on the left side of the room. You guys have seen this tank a bunch. Things just keep growing. I have a brand new gold pair in here. These are generation 2s. So I bred their parents, and their parents only lived in this room, and then these guys have never seen the light of day outside of this room. So the female's pretty young, but the male is like a month and a half older than her. He's from a different spawn. I try not to breed siblings. I know that it doesn't exactly matter with most fish, but I actually have a feeling that some things do get tripped up when you're breeding them. I feel like the fry just don't grow as quick and not as many survive. That is a complete guess. It just feels that way. I have no idea how it actually works. Let's see if I can get him to turn. He's pretty awesome. He has like a really high front finnage, which is pretty cool. And I've been trying to hammer, like I just picked the most red tipped fish. It doesn't show up as much on camera. You can kind of see it when he puts his top fins down, but I've been trying to pick the absolute most red just because I think it looks good. So I have obviously the gold rams in here, but I have rummy nose and I have some orange Venezuelan Cories. These guys actually need to get moved out of here at some point. I put them in here then when they were tiny. They were like this big, probably like almost half as big as they are now. And keep in mind, the orange Venezuelans get pretty big. But I wanted to breed them at some point, so I just got a few. I think there's 6 in here, 6 or 8. And I wanted to breed them at some point, but I just don't have enough room yet. So they're kind of just been growing out. The rummy nose came from an old tank. They're just awesome. They're honestly dither fish, even though this male is really patient, which is nice. When I'm picking fish out, I try to pay attention. Like when I'm picking pairs out for rams, I try to pay attention to like patience. I know it seems kind of weird, but it's actually like a real thing. Like some fish are more chill and like better at breeding and spawning and all those kinds of things. And some fish are horrible. Some fish are super impatient. Usually the males are really impatient. Sometimes you get stubborn females who will just like not spawn with certain males. It can be a little bit tricky. Rams aren't that picky. But they can be. So I just try to pick the most like easygoing fish as well as like most beautiful colors. But yeah, he's been growing really quick. Especially since he's gotten moved out of grow out. That's typically how it goes is when they're all together, they kind of dumb each other down, and then once they kind of get to do their own thing. I mean, his top fins are so prominent that they fold over. So yeah, he's beautiful. He might be one of the most beautiful gold rams I've ever seen. And he's even better in person. You can't really see the red tips all around the entire finnage. And honestly, he's just a really cool fish. And it's really cool that I bred his parents and I bred him. So also had these. Of course, everybody knows what those are. Those are baby bristlenose. Not so baby anymore, but still pretty small. There's 2 or 3 of them in here. I try to keep them in every tank. I put 2 or 3 in. Here's one down here. He's a bit bigger. Just because it keeps up with, algae and everything that's overgrowth. And then once they get too big, I split them up. I might keep, 1 from every, 5 that I split. And then I sell the 4. I put the 1 elsewhere, maybe use it to breed some more. But I just put new ones in there, and that's just kind of how I grow them out because I feel like they do better whenever there's more surface algae to eat. So that's this tank as a whole. I don't think I'm missing anything. Really cool Nubius in here. Look at this. This is beautiful. I've had this for a while. So yeah, some of this Nubius is doing really good, but that is that tank. Now my hand's wet. So then I just went over this in a recent video a couple days ago. This is the shrimp tank. I just threw some So, I just threw 3 shrimp in here. They're kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can. There we go. There they are. So I haven't seen any baby shrimp yet, but you gotta be patient with these kinds of things. It hasn't even been a week. So this is going good. Other than this is really annoying. All this sand that's holding water. But yeah, it's really pretty now. I stirred it all up and it looks horrible, but let's move on over here. This looks kind of weird, but it's just a bunch of moss and baby CPDs. I don't even know if you guys will be able to see these. CPDs are miniature. Let's see. Okay, no, you guys can't see anything. There's literally one right in front. Let's see. There's a couple little guys swimming down there. There's probably like 25, 30 in here. Oh, here's one right here. You guys can't see anything. There he is, right there. Anyways, a bunch of baby CPDs in there. And let's go over to this tank, which is kind of a disaster. These are some of the platies that I held back. I'm not doing any platies right now. These are all babies. I sold all the parents so that I would have to deal with fry for a whopping whole month. But basically anything that has like crazy blue / like an orangish. This also is like my extra plants. Anything that is like overgrowth that I pull out, I just kind of throw in here. So this tank is kind of crazy. There's probably 30 CPDs in here. Let's see if I can. This is a crazy tank. There's some stir-by cories in here and just a bunch of plants. Kind of a crazy tank. Mutt shrimp. I mean, this thing is just a little baby CPD up here. So yeah, this thing is kind of crazy. Definitely have to keep up on water changes on this tank, just because there's so many fish in there for right now. And then let's move over to the black rams. These guys are really young, and probably not spawn ready. But these guys are pairing off. They're beautiful. So these are some of the best black rams I've ever seen in my life. Almost are like completely black, and you love to see like a really dark female too. So yeah, these guys are doing great. And I have another black ram pair. These guys are a bit younger. Made this. This is cool. Of course, there's a bristle nose in every tank. Where are they at? Oh, here we go. So yeah, this is a male. That's a female. They're honestly so young that it's kind of hard to tell. But I definitely had the sexes right when I pulled them out because I spent like 30 minutes making sure that I picked the pairs off. So CPDs, platy CPDs, gold, double black, cherry shrimp, and this is typically ram grow out. But I don't have any like tiny rams right now. Well, I do have tiny rams, but I just don't have medium-sized rams. So it's just cherry shrimp for right now. I actually fed them so that they would all come to the front, but there's still like a bunch back there hiding. So, but yeah, these cherry shrimp are beautiful. I try to keep, honestly, these guys are doing great. There's also a bunch in here too. So this is like ram grow out, but these are all the fish that aren't big enough to go in the big tank yet. There's a few in here that probably could go, but yeah, there's just kind of like a mix of like 3 different spawns in here. Anything that's not growing up to size, things that like some of the fish have, some of their fins aren't perfect. So if their fins aren't perfect, those just get sold locally to the pet store. The only things I sell online are these guys who are just absolutely perfect. So some of these guys are perfect. They're just too young. But then like if you see right here, like those guys, his fins aren't perfect. She's good. So yeah. Also cherry shrimp in here. This is just kind of it's just grow out really. And then this is clearly a bristlenose tank with beautiful green jade shrimp. You got babies on right there, and then I actually have 2 males, 3 females in here. I'd like to put them in a 20 once I expand, but some of these were just too good to not like keep back. I have plenty of caves in here. I definitely keep up on water changes because these guys are messy, but they also like it messy. So I try to keep a little bit of filth in there because that's just kind of how they like it. And then I just have some random fish, black neons and some regular neons from an old build that I did that I just kind of tossed in here. The other fish are pretty important with bristlenose, but let's move up to this. Honestly, it's kind of crazy. I just used my brain and I made this from stuff that I had in my room and some PVC at Home Depot. This is where all of the perfect rams go. Look at this. This male's a holdback. He's beautiful. Same with this female. So these are all golds. This is a gold. That's a powder blue. So powder blues are, he's feisty. So you can kind of tell the difference. There's no speckling. He's just kind of all blue. Powder blues are really cool. You don't see them very often. Like the percentage of them coming out in a spawn is pretty rare. Almost more rare than black rams in some cases. So he really stands out. You can tell. I have him listed up here. I have just everything written down with Sharpie or Expo marker. I don't think this sword is actually doing that great in there. I just tossed it in there because it was in here, but I hate to just toss a sword in with a mixture of just like other crap. I mean, it's not crap. It's just I just wanted to keep the sword separate. So we've got a male here, another male here, another male. It might be a female. She's definitely a female in the back. She's a female. Another male. So lots of males right now. And they're going to get to that age where it's time to move them out, especially him. I wanted to keep him and move him into a breeding tank, but I already have 3 pairs going, so probably just going to sell him. And then I have some baby gold rams in here. They're pretty hard to see. They're all attached to the little tiny itty bitty food that they have. And I should probably explain what's going on here. So I don't have it all the way full right now. I just don't have it full because I don't want it full at the moment. This is just a pump from an old Pauldarian build that I did. That if you go back on my Instagram, you might be able to see what I use this for, but I actually don't remember. I know it was a Pauldarian, but I don't even know if I did a waterfall or what I did with it. I siliconed all this on there. Kind of did a messy job. But I siliconed this basically onto the PVC pipe. This PVC pipe comes up, and I drilled holes, and I siliconed all of these little nozzles all the way up until here. This is in case it's just for overflow. I would think that if for some reason that this down here got plugged, that this water would come flowing out of here. Especially if I turned all of these off, some water would come out of here. But it just goes right back in the tank. It just drips right down through there. Just kind of like a backup thing. I don't want anything to get clogged up. And then even with all of these running, except for this one, I have all of them running. It still pushes out. It's just aeration at this point. So it's kind of like a double use thing. And then this is for all 4 of these are for baby rams. So this is for really little guys. And then these are for when they get a little bit bigger. And then once they get bigger, they'll go down into here, then there, then back into here. So it's kind of crazy, but I only have so much room to work with. As you can see, I literally have this and then 6, 7. And then obviously I have these little tanks I'm working with here, but I don't have that much space in the moment. I'm looking to expand probably into the 30s and 40s for tanks, but it's going to take some time and money, of course. So yeah, these are just containers I found at Target with bolts in them. Everything's marine grade, so it doesn't rust. And some of these have two. This can go over here. I can kind of, obviously I can pick the flow up, or turn it down. And then I have these so that there's not too much surface agitation, because these guys are pretty fragile. And then in here, it's also just another one of these, but I'm using it right now for a beta breeding project. So I just introduced these guys today. Here's my female, she's beautiful. So I'm trying this again. There's the male. So going for blues and reds, of course. She's actually really pretty. I wish you guys could see her better. So she's a koi female, so she's pretty sweet. So yeah, that is what's going on in here. I don't have anything in this side. I used egg crate and water safe net with water safe zip ties, which I don't even know if all zip ties are water safe or not. I don't even actually remember. I think I might have just found those in the garage. So this side is kind of separated for grow. I could also put rams over here, and this side's a little bit bigger. And then if I have betas, I was going to flip so that I can grow out betas and rams, or vice versa. But for now, I could just toss rams over here. I suppose I could breed rams. I could put another splitter and do some more pairs, but I really don't need any more pairs for the amount of space that I have right now. And then obviously this is heated to, let's see, 83.5. So I like to keep it between 82 and 84. It's summer and it is daytime. Just close the curtain so there's no glare, but it can get pretty hot in here. But then I bought a dehumidifier and I have this fan, so my room stays, I get it down to 68 at night with all of these tanks being pretty hot. I don't like to sleep warm. I don't think anybody does. But yeah, so we've got gold rams. This is the only tank that I even half tried to scape. I'd like to have a separate area where I do all my breeding and then just have a few scaped tanks, because that part of the hobby is fun too. But I like to create and be able to produce fish for people. With that being said, I don't have an official website at the moment, just because it doesn't make sense to have one, because I don't have that big of a following. But if you are interested in rams specifically, I suppose CPDs too, because I have some cherry shrimp, jade shrimp, just DM me or email me. My Instagram and my email are all tagged together, and you can contact me through, like I said, email or Instagram, and just be like, hey, like, what do you got? I'm looking for really sweet powder blue ram, or just a regular German blue. Like, I love this kind of stuff, and once I have a bit more space, then I think it would make sense to have a website in the whole thing. But for now, with my 7-10 gallons and 190, I think it would be better just to have, just DM me on Instagram, send me an email, leave a comment in the YouTube, and just be like, hey, I'm looking for X, and I could, ship you fish. Eventually, that is the goal. I want to be able to ship these fish out to people who are interested in breeding themselves, because it is really interesting and it is a whole lot of fun. But for now, I don't have a website. I have gotten a few DMs from people saying, hey, do you have a website? I don't, but I will still sell fish. I need practice with the whole shipping process. And I get fish all the time from people, but I don't sell as much. And I don't think that I've even said anything on the YouTube publicly or the Instagram that, like, I do sell fish. So I just want to let you guys know that I actually, you don't get to just look at the fish. I do sell them. And anything that's not perfect, that made it through the culling process, just goes locally to a fish store, and all the perfect fish get sold online. And yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. This is either June 10th or June 11th. I don't know when this is going to come out. But yeah, this is the room tour for June. Really exciting. The 90 gallon, the whole system is pretty cool. Again, it's just PVC and a little bit of common sense, and hopefully nothing breaks. But yeah, that is the room tour for June 2025. It's looking sweet.